So just to finish off this little series about the word Adamah, you'll know from watching previous videos how fascinated I am with the concept of chiasmus, which is, let me just write it here a little on the side, which is the Hebrew poetic form of, which is so much more than just a poetic form, of the end reflecting the beginning. It's a form where you have the first and the last lines mirroring each other, second and the second to last lines mirroring each other, and so on and so forth, until you end up with what looks like a menorah on the side there. So this idea that the end and the beginning are the same, which is reflected throughout all scripture, where God says, I'm the beginning and the end, and also the center of all things. Anyway, so it's a really deep concept, but I love how this, in Genesis, the first chapters of Genesis, we get a hint of that great chiastic process of the journey of man, where when God says, I've created you from the dust of the earth, and to dust you shall return. Since you've been taken, by the sweat of your face you'll eat bread until you return to the ground, which was that word Adamah we were talking about. For you have been taken out of it, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return. So I've written this chiastic little journey here, as we begin as the ground, the dust of the ground, Adamah. We are separated out from the feminine consciousness of Mother Earth and the greater feminine spirit of all consciousness, to become self-aware beings, mortal beings having blood, with the ability to return back to wholeness already contained within the story of our separation journey, because that's what my second video I just did was about dam, meaning blood, and how that's a pathway back to wholeness in itself. So this is our whole journey that we're going through. We're starting off in this sort of a not self-aware collective conscious state, where we are part of the whole but not knowing ourselves. We experience the process of separation. We are separated out from the collective consciousness to develop self-consciousness as mortal beings. Dumb meaning we can die. We are separate. We are not whole and perfect and complete, because we've been separated out from the whole. But this is part of our journey, right? To return again to the dust of the ground. Obviously, microcosmically, we do that when we die and our body returns back to the earth, and our spirit returns back to the spirit. So this happens on the microcosmic level too, but also collectively, obviously, as this journey was talking about the journey of all mankind, because Adam isn't a name of an individual so much as it is of a term referring to mankind as a collective. So right here we have this chiastic journey where the beginning and the end are one, and the center of that is our experience as separate beings. So collective consciousness, separation consciousness, return back to collective consciousness, with the memory of our journey as separate beings still included, of course, back into our concept of awareness. So we learn so much from these Hebrew words. They just tell such a story. It's incredible to me. And just a little as an addendum to this concept of returning to the spirit, which is feminine, I just want to share something I was discussing with we just got back from New Zealand, and I was talking to a friend who is Māori, and he was saying how he really finds that the wisdom teachings are embedded in the Maori mythology really expands a lot on what just standard Christian doctrine kind of teaches. And I was saying to him, yeah, well, actually, if you go back to the root where where the Christian tradition began, you can actually see that all of the concepts are actually there, but they've just been lost or misunderstood, mistranslated, taken out of context, all of that kind of thing. So if we think about this hey principle as being that aspect of the collective self that we lose when we become separate, it's interesting to me that this is a feminine principle, and as opposed to the other end of Adamah, which is the masculine principle. So we know all about, in Christianity, we talk a lot about the masculine God and the world, the universe of creation and form, but there is not a lot of knowledge and understanding about what the feminine counterpart of the masculine is. And I'll have to do a whole video on this, but our friend in New Zealand was talking about this idea of te kore, which is the darkness of the nothing, out of which everything springs. So these like the original state. And he said, but it's not nothing. He said it's like a field of potential. And I said, yes, actually, in the Kabbalic tradition, teachings of the Kabbalah, which is an ancient Jewish text, they have the same idea, and it's called tohu, and it's translated as chaos. But it means the world that exists, or the realm that existed before the world of order. So this masculine god is always referred to as being a god of order. So we've got the juxtaposition of this realm of order and this realm of chaos. But the realm of chaos being the feminine principle, or the womb out of which, all things spring. So it's like that field of potential, like he was saying about Takare, actually. The field of potential out of which all matter and creation springs. So we've got this dark field of potential of the nothing, if you want to call it that, as juxtaposed with the universe of form and order, which is the masculine principle that we're also very familiar with from Christian doctrine and teachings. But if you go back to all of these indigenous cultures, they and the ancient teachings, they often have this idea as the pre-existent state being this feminine womb of chaos and potential, out of which sprung the universe of order. So I just thought I would include that this is, when I was talking about the journey, that we have to return to an understanding of this principle, to get back to Adamah, to return to the dust out of which we sprang. On this, the spiritual level, we're talking about returning to a connection with that collective, I would say unconsciousness, but with the feminine principle. Basically, this is what we need to reconnect with. And I think these ancient teachings, just letting you watch me rub all this stuff out, we need to get back to connecting with this feminine spirit if we are going to collectively return back to our original state and complete this chiastic journey back. We started here, we separated out so we could know ourselves, but now we got to get back. Got to get back to Adamah, back to our mother, back to our earth mother, back to our Cosmic mother, back to the feminine principle that complements the masculine at the other end there. And yeah, our mortality is that center part of that journey between these two. So, interesting stuff. Hope that made sense.